My name is Emma Farley.
I'm Molly Ream.
My name's Isabella Palazzolo. My name is Jovana Vukanic.
My name is Carly Kuchera.
I go to St. Louis University, and I pretty much have grown up in St. Louis my entire life.
I am originally from St. Louis.
I'm a junior here at St. Louis University, and I'm from Shelby Township, Michigan.
I'm a sophomore at SLU. I'm a communications major with a film studies minor. I was born in Chicago, Illinois, and I lived there for about 2 years. And then I moved to Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I lived there for 4 years. And so I moved after those 4 years to New Jersey, and I was in second grade. And then I lived in New Jersey for 9 years. So I was raised there. That's basically all I knew until the summer of 2015 or 2014. I moved to St. Louis, Missouri, and started high school my junior year at a new school.
I'm a junior at St. Louis University, and I'm from Leawood, Kansas.
There are so many things to do in St. Louis. There's the Arch, the zoo, then there's cool places like Central West End and the Loop, which are just like storefronts and restaurants. It's just really fun because there's a ton of things to do like at night or even during the day.
And the reason I love living in St. Louis is there's always something to do or experience all year round. In the winter, you can always go to the Steinberg ice skating rink in Forest Park just to skate around, and some days it's really nice, some days it's really cold, just kind of depends. And then in the summer, while I babysit, I always take the two boys that I babysit to the science center because they're really into all that science stuff, and there's always something new for them to explore.
In my journey to find a college, in my recruiting process for soccer, I ended up at St. Louis University, and I immediately loved the campus. I love being in the city, and I love the hustle and bustle of the community and the social life and just sense of being a part of St. Louis. I think St. Louis has a really interesting vibe to it that people don't want to leave when they come.
In Missouri, I moved to a huge high school. There were double the kids in my class, and there were like 2,500 kids in the school. So that was a big culture shock for me, like coming from such a small town. About St. Louis, I absolutely love downtown. I love that there's little neighborhoods you can go to. There are like different kinds of restaurants with specialties in each section of the city. My family were big foodies, so that's like a big part for us that we didn't get in New Jersey. We had our favorite restaurants and that was it. Here, every weekend we can try something new, and we have our favorites to always fall back on.
I chose St. Louis because it's still in the Midwest and it wasn't too far away from home. It's only like a 3.5-hour drive. There's a lot of good restaurants. There's a lot of good shopping. People are normally out. Forest Park, that's a big one. I love going to Forest Park and walking around. And they also have really good sports teams. The Cardinals and the Blues do really well.
I was really drawn to the campus here at St. Louis University. It was really pretty, and the whole school kind of feels like a little village. And then there are also so many fun things to do, like I said, outside of the school. Like there's Washington Avenue, there's the Loop, Central West End, and then there's like Busch Stadium, which is fun because we can go to Cardinals games.
So take them to the zoo sometimes, and their favorite is they like to go see the penguins because they are jumping off rocks and swimming around, and they feel like they can almost touch them because they're so close to the glass. And then I'll take them to the sea lion exhibit so they can go underneath and watch the sea lions swim over them. They really like the polar bear. Not really sure why. And then they like the monkeys because their mom always calls them monkeys because they're all hopped up on energy. So they like to hang out with the monkeys and act like.
I'm just a really big St. Louis sports fan. There's the Cardinals, and then the Blues are really fun to watch too. So those are two really good teams that St. Louis kind of brings in a lot of people for.
So my brother plays hockey at the Air Force Academy, and I also have a cousin who plays professional hockey overseas. And my whole family is just like a hockey family, so in Kansas City, since they don't have a professional hockey team, we were Blues fans, but now that I actually am living in St. Louis, it makes it even more fun and makes me like the Blues even more.
For fun in St. Louis, I love to adventure. I think being in the city is so awesome because you can go downtown and there's always something new to do, a new restaurant to try, a new museum, or walk to the Arch if you want, or just walk around a Blues game, a Cards game, everything all the time, downtown even. But I love that the Botanical Gardens and the zoo, Forest Park, Tower Grove Park, so many outside activities and open space in the city that you can really enjoy, and it makes you feel like you're not so crowded or suffocated all the time.
Also, I found in St. Louis and in Missouri and the Midwest in general, people are a lot more friendly, and they have smiles walking down the sidewalk. Random strangers will say hi to you. It's a totally different dynamic than in New Jersey. Not that they're not nice, but people don't go out of the way to ask you how you're doing or smile at you if they don't know you. So that's something that's awesome about Missouri and the Midwest in general.
On Halloween, I have always been used to just going up saying trick or treat and then they give you your candy. But I guess here in St. Louis, you go up and you have to tell a joke in order to get your food. So that's also something different.
I would say just like the bad rep that sometimes it has. Like a lot of questions are like, oh, aren't you afraid to go to school in the city? And it's honestly not a concern because like we have such great like security, we have awesome stuff like that, and a lot of times like you go any school and there's gonna be crime, there's gonna be riots, protests, stuff like that. So I think the only negative really is just like the bad rep that it does have, because there's gonna be bad stuff everywhere, but St. Louis is awesome.
So I'm pretty Italian. I was raised 100%. My mom and dad both have direct lines from Italy. Both my grandparents and my dad were born there. So I'm pretty well versed, I think, in the Italian culture, especially the food scene. And so I have a few choice opinions about the Hill. I think that some places are really great, but I also think that some places are super Italian Americanized and maybe don't stay true to the traditional flavor and like essence of the Italian culture and Italian food. So I'm a little biased there, but I love the environment and I think the community over there.
Another thing about St. Louis that could probably be a little bit negative is how inconsistent the weather is. It's either like really cold or really hot, and it'll go from being freezing in November to sunny and 70s. So
I would say there's always something free to do. You just kind of have to look around. So you can always go to Forest Park, and there's a bunch of stuff to do in Forest Park. The zoo is free. The science center is free. You can go to the arts grounds for free and just like have a picnic under the arch. And then in the summers, there are free concerts at Art Hill, which is also in Forest Park. And then we also have a few sports teams, so Cardinals games are always fun. In the winter, Blues games are a lot of fun, and in the fall, you can always come watch Billiken soccer play because they're pretty good. So,
if I were trying to get someone to come to St. Louis, I would tell them to do the things I love to do. So I would definitely recommend going to the City Museum. Even if you're in college, it's still really fun. Go to the Arch, see that beautiful scenery from the top. Visit the zoo, it's free and you get to see all the cute animals. And then definitely go to Pappy's Smokehouse because they have the best ribs in town.
My favorite restaurant in St. Louis is El Burro Loco because they have amazing food and the environment is just fun every time.
I think my favorite Italian restaurant here, I guess, would be Antonino's. I really like it, and they have awesome pizza and really cool ambiance to sit in and enjoy some time with people or family or whatever.
You never really get tired of the city because there's always new and fun things to do.
I think career dependent, I would stay. I really like it here, and I think I've made a lot of cool networking and even friendship and relationship connections here. So I really love the city. I think there's a lot of great aspects to it depending on what part of your life that you're in. And I think I would stay after college. Obviously, it'll depend on how my career path goes, but I do like it a lot here.